Good morning. Welcome to the slopes. Good morning. Good morning. Nvidia, thank you, brother. Thank you for my day. Welcome back. Happy Thursday. Happy all-time high day. Happy big day. Big day. Big day here, folks. Looking really good out there. Nvidia, 184. We had it on the whiteboard yesterday. We had it right there. Perfect low a day on Nvidia, 184. What a morning. The breakout day. The expansion day. Love to see it. Congratulations to those that are in some stuff. AMD broke that level. Yep. Unfortunately, it's in the overnight session, of course. But, yeah, man. A lot of nice stuff out there. A lot of nice... The hold over... Take these off my head. The hold over QQQ PDL yesterday, man. That was it. That was our read. It was the reclaim of PDL on the QQQ. After that drop into 6680 on the S&P 500 futures, we were sort of watching whether the Qs could hold back above that PDL, little reclaim ripper. And what a day it was. What a day it was. Congratulations, Clyde. Nice job, man. 185%. There you go. Nvidia 184. Nice job, man. Way to trust it. Way to trust it. So today we are looking to open up on a gap up. The SMH is just absolutely on fire. On fire. Way more than I expected, but I'll take it. That thing is vertical, leaving behind gaps, multiple gaps down below. So, the song will end eventually. The party will end. The song will come to an end, and we'll see, the market slide back lower at some point. But day one of an all-time high breakout on the market. We'll see what we get today. We'll see if we get some holds above key levels. We'll see if we get those pullback longs. Some other honorable mentions. Palantir over 185. Big watch today. AMD obviously big. Nvidia 190. 204 is what makes Nvidia a $5 trillion company. $204 per share. So maybe that's the goal. $204 per share on Nvidia. That would be the 5 trillion number. So that could be the target there. There's really no other way to guess a target to the upside. If we're at all-time highs, 190 probably has some, a little bit of trouble. So we'll pay attention to that. Broadcom, 10% off the highs with the market at all-time highs, with an SMH ripping straight up. That's the opportunity that you should be paying attention to. That's the opportunity that me and the group got in yesterday. And it is straight up this morning. It's at $342, up almost $10 per share in the after hours. Huge. I mean, a huge opportunity. Broadcom, 10% off the highs. SMH, well above all-time highs. NASDAQ just ripped through all-time highs. So the question is, does Nvidia catch up? Or, I'm sorry, does Broadcom catch up? I'd say that's a pretty decent possibility. On top of that, also AMD. Damn, Chef. You're up $1 million on Tesla? No. Chef. Serious? Let's go, man. Holy hell. Wow. Congratulations, man, if that's true. If I'm reading that right. Yeah, I mean, what a market. Opportunities, just, it's crazy when you think about it. Just the money that can be made in the stock market with a little bit of discipline. A little bit of belief, trusting Tesla. Long term, there you go. All you had to do was hold. All you had to do was hold, right? All right. With that said, I'm sure there's a lot of opportunities out there today, so I'm not going to just, talk about what's happening now. Let's see what is going to happen today. Let's see what the opportunities are today. Some of us are probably not in some swing trades and, looking to see where we can get entered. And so that's what I'll try my best to do today for you. Where is the next entry point? Where can you look to re-enter this market without getting caught in some big pullbacks, right? So let's do it. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Let's make it a beautiful day. I mean, my day's done, but I'll still stick around and do what I can. Let's turn that on, and let's turn that green, baby. All right, here we go. So today, let's jump in. So as naturally you can see, I'm staring at Broadcom all morning. I woke up at 5 a.m. and instantly looked over at my phone. So it's one of those mornings where you wake up and you're like, what's Broadcom at? So nice way to wake up this morning. But today, let's see what we can do. Let's see where the opportunities where they lie, and let's see where we can find new entry points on this market. Before we do that, let me make sure we don't have any. We do have we have the normal Thursday. Where the hell did it go? Oh shit! Is it the government shutdown? Did they take it off the calendar? Am I tripping? They took it off the calendar, didn't they? Unemployment claims. It's gone. All right. So no unemployment claims today. Government shutdown. Sure, that's fine. I don't need them. I don't want to know them. I'd prefer it that way. Okay, great. No data. Tomorrow we'll see if this is, yeah, you can see it's all tentative now, right? Average hour earnings, non-farm employment change, unemployment rate, all pending, all tentative because of government shutdown. So, what do we do today? We trust the levels. That's what we do today. We got nothing but levels. Okay. So, today, Hamish, yeah, Hamish, no job for you today, Hamish. Now you can just sit back and relax. Very nice. All right, so what happened yesterday? Who can tell me? Who can tell me what happened yesterday? It was our thesis straight from the pre-market live stream yesterday morning. What was the thesis? What were we looking for? Who can tell me? I'm going to wait. I want someone to tell me. I'm going to wait for the comment. The one I'm looking for. There's one particular thing that happened that showed you that the market was going to attempt to go higher. I'm not going until I see it. No, not pullback. 67. No, not 67.16. Where though, Kevin? Where was it? At what point? What point was the reclaim ripper? Not PDH. Nope. Aaron, you're close, man. Wrong day. Not purple tie. G-Pilot got it. Thank you, G-Pilot. Yesterday, if you paid attention, we said that the most important level of the day is previous day's lows. Right here. After failing underneath that into the demand level, we said if you can turn previous day lows back into a support level, that is your reclaim rip. That is your trapped shorts. That is your reason that this market could try to go higher again. All right? That was it. We could not fail back under the previous day lows. If we would have failed back under it and turned it into rejections, that would have been the downside move. What did the bulls do? They defended the previous lows. If you go down to the short-term time frames, you can see exactly how major of a reaction it was yesterday off that level. Look at this. Previous day lows, previous day lows. Look at the morning. Look at this. Right there. That was the key. After seeing the strong reaction off that low, that was it. The market was gone. It was gone. It went straight up with strong momentum into our highs, held above them, and the next leg higher came in, right? But it was all set up off of this. You need to pay attention to reclaims. A reclaim is the most important thing to pay attention to on the market. If you are coming out of a downside move, what needs to happen for upside to come back in? You need to reclaim previous lows, right? That was our, go back to yesterday's live stream. If you weren't paying attention, if you missed it, go back to yesterday's live stream. This was our main watch. So you saw that happen yesterday, and the rest is history, okay? So that's that. Moving on. That was awesome. Now, what are we looking for today? Well, there's really only one thing to look for today. It's a pullback to this structure here, right? It's anywhere between 24,975 to 25,027. That is back to this low here. That is back to where the rejection came in that facilitated the downside on this market, right? You had this hold, right? You had this hold, you reclaimed PDL, and you rocketed higher. And now you are looking for a pullback into this zone today. If you can get this pullback, that is what keeps this market higher. That is a pullback to these previous highs and the previous high from right here on Monday of this week. Right there, 24,975. There is a possibility that you need to go slightly deeper. If you fail under that Monday low, I don't think you're looking for downside still. If you fail under 24,975, you would look for the hold right here. These highs, and Tuesday's highs. That would be your next level right there. So your two levels that you're watching, your two zones that you're watching for the bulls to defend moving forward from this point forward is right here and right here, right? These are your next two pullback longs. If you grab a retracement from yesterday's lows and you, bear with me, if you grab a retracement from yesterday's lows and you drag it to where we are right now, right, that's around your 38.2 to 61.8 retracement, right? That would be a nice pullback long or pullback long, right? Those are your two spots that you're watching for that potential of a new entry point. Without that, this market is on a gap and go, and there's really, I mean, you just have to really be cautious if you're going to trade a gap and go, okay? This is where the quality entries come back in, down here or down here. That's what you're going to have to accept if you are not long something right now, right? That is what you're going to have to accept. If you don't accept that, you are potentially going to long a high and then lose on a gap fill, right? And then you're going to see this market hold here. You're going to lose as this pulls back, and then you're going to see the next day this holds on, and then the next day it's back to new highs, right? So you don't want to be the one that chases the upside and loses on the controlled pullback. This is, and again, I say these things because, I do not ever say that I'm a perfect trader, because I'm not. This is how I lost on Monday. Monday of this week, I got caught longing on the gap up when I knew we needed to gap fill, right? See this Monday straight up move? Remember the move from Friday into Monday morning? We gap filled. That's all we did, right? We gap filled and then we ripped higher. That's it, right? That's all the market did. This downside was simply a full day downside for a gap fill move, all right? So what is likely to happen moving forward? We're going to have a day where the market goes down all day, but it's just going to be to gap fill, right? And you don't want to be the one that loses on the straight down day that is actually a meaningless day, right? That's a meaningless downside day. It doesn't mean anything in accordance to the trend on the market. It is simply just a cool-off day to reload the long position. So you just don't want to be that person that is long on the day that it gap fills, because then you're going to get taken out of a position that actually is a perfect opportunity. And that's what happened to me on Monday, and I'm not going to hide that. I do that too sometimes. So I say this to try to avoid myself from doing it, right? To talk it into my own brain, because sometimes I'm just as stubborn and idiotic as other people, right? And I also do it to potentially try to help people, right, online that are watching me. So the best long will be back at key levels. When that happens, I don't know. It's going to happen, though. And you want to be avoiding the potential long as we gap fill, right? That is how this market works. So right now we are on a gap up. You have to look for pullback longs. That's where you're going to have to be looking for the right entry. If you're not, you are exposed to the market pulling back. That is meaningless. But you are going to be red because you caught a high, right? And you're going to sit through pain. Unless you can sit through that and trust that these levels hold as you're in 40, 50% drawdown. You'd prefer not to be, though, right? So let's see. Maybe this thing just goes straight up. But I would tell you from personal experience, you probably want to wait for something to pull back, okay? QQQ, it's the same thing, right? What did the QQQ do between Monday and Tuesday of this week? It was this week, right? Remember this? We came in Monday, we rejected these highs, and what did we do? We gap filled back to Friday's highs, right here, to our 596, which then created the breakout move, right? After the gap fill. But if you are caught long here, you have to sit through 4 points of QQQ downside, which is not going to be okay, right? Your option contracts are going to get just destroyed. So this is the same concept of this morning. You are going to see a gap up, and the gap will fill at yesterday's closing price. Yesterday's close is 603.79. Oh, sorry, that's the high. Yesterday's close is, I'm actually going to put this on my charts. Yesterday's close is 603.25, right? That is your gap fill level. Gap fill is 603.25, right? So we look at this chart and we see a gap up from 603.25, our 603 demand, right, up until 606. So where is the possible best entry going to be? I would say it's back down between the gap fill and Monday's highs, right there. So you want to see the market come back down, gap fill, come back down to these highs, come back down to that Monday high, and then create that new curling long opportunity, right? That's exactly what you'd want to see, okay? So that's the ideal spot. Do you have the patience to wait for it? It's going to be tough, right? Because there's going to be a shitload of FOMO out there today, guys. I mean, there's already FOMO, right? FOMO is at an all-time high. Market's at all-time highs. It's going to be very difficult to say, man, I got to wait for a pullback and nothing's pulling back. Ronald, appreciate that, man. So that's what I would look for, right? Monday highs here, 602. Previous day close and these highs, 603. Somewhere between that 602, 603 zone would be the area I'd look for today. You might need a little bit lower. It's possible back down to Tuesday's highs at 600. Right? Those are the two spots that I'd be watching. S&P 500. Sick. Just sick. 66.80. Bam. 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 Yeah, ASML is absolutely unreal. It's absolutely unreal. 67.54 to 67.56 is these highs here. That's your first spot to look for a pullback to. Right there. Right back to these highs right here. That's what I would be watching first. Underneath that level, you could potentially see the pullback to the Tuesday high and the Monday high, 67.45, 67.36. Those are your two spots, right here and right here, right? Those are your two pullback spots to be looking for. You cannot fail back under Monday's highs, by the way. For anyone that, to think both sides, right? You cannot fail back under this high. That is the end of this move, right? Not the end fully, but the end of the short-term momentum, right? Short-term momentum dies if we fail back under Monday's highs. That's no bueno, okay? So that has to hold. 67.36 Monday's highs. You cannot fail back under this previous high of the week. All right, you need to create lows at the previous weekly highs. All right, that's how you continue this move. So those are your pullback spots. That's what I would be watching. SPY. Yesterday's highs on the SPY. Yesterday's close. Let me go ahead and pull up the close. Yesterday's close on the SPY is right there, 668.45. That is PDC, previous day close, which is also gap fill. So PDC gap fill would be 668.45. I don't really like that spot, to be honest. That is where the gap would be filled, but I would prefer a pullback within these highs and that Monday high. Somewhere in this zone right here would be where I'd prefer a pullback to, right? Because that would be a pullback to these previous highs here. That would be a pullback to Monday's highs, and that would be a pullback to Tuesday's highs. And that is also the previous all-time high, right? So somewhere in here would be my money long if we can find a nice consolidation back in that zone there. If the market is super strong and just sort of wants to rip, then maybe it is PDC, right? On a little PDC pullback. That's another option. But this would be the more preferable spot inside this zone. As of right now, the market is in a straight up rip. Okay. All right. IWM finally gave us a little bit of juice off the 241 pullback that we've been sort of staring at. Look at that daily 20 SMA, daily 20, daily 20, daily 20, daily 20, daily 20, daily 20. And the grind continues. So another long off the daily 20, pretty much perfect. Really about as textbook as it gets there, once again. Only trade here on IWM for me would be a break and hold above 245, 246. That's the only trade for me. So I'll set a little alert there at 246 to see if we get above it. Okay. SMH. Unreal. I got no words. I got no words. Is it surprising? No. Is the semiconductors the most important part of the stock market? Yes. I think everyone knows that. That is the future. We talked about this in 2019. Shout out Chef Joe. All right? Chef Joe knows. 2019, 2020, right? When no one was, everyone's like, oh, semis are, it's a bubble, it's a bubble. Well, if you want to, if you want there to be a future in the world, then you probably need semiconductors to do pretty well, huh? Right? So without semiconductors, there is no future, right? We will become a stagnant society. So this is not surprising. And the way it's moving higher is a little shocking, but am I surprised to see semiconductors continue to be absolutely on fire? No. That is like the focus of the world right now. So pretty wild. Really no trade for me here. 326, 327, right? That's the high. That's really where you want to get it back to. Do I think you're going to get that? Probably not. Where is the potential pullback long? Right here. Previous day high, previous day close. That's the aggressive long today. Right there. If you fail back under yesterday's highs on the SMH, then you will fill this downside. You will fill this straight up move back down to 327. Something's going to have to drastically change for that to happen. Like drastically. I don't know if that happens today. But you can look for this little quick, maybe drop and pop off PDC, PDH. That's possible. Okay. That's that. If you got, let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, sexy. I would look for Bitcoin to hold over this previous pivot high today. This would be your Bitcoin hold right here. $119,195. That is the previous pivot high right there. If you hold above that, which you can see is absolutely perfectly holding. I mean, look at that. Bitcoin, for Bitcoin to hold something to the dollar amount is unbelievable, right? I mean, Bitcoin is the sloppiest of the sloppiest. So for Bitcoin to be holding 119,195 on the dot, all pre-market, that is very telling to me. That is very telling to me. So I would definitely watch that today. Eunice, appreciate that, man. I appreciate that, Eunice. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support again, man. I feel guilty. Eunice, did you email me? Because I must have missed it. I didn't see an email, Eunice. Did you email me? Actually, you know what? That reminds me. I think I need to still get back to the last week's winners. That's my bad. I will get back to you on that. I still have your screenshot in here. Let me make sure I still have it. Hold on. I'll just go back to the live stream if anything. I'll find it. I'll go back to Fridays. You don't have the email's down in the description, Eunice. Down in the description, you'll see my email. Shoot me an email, man. I'll get you some. I'll hook you up for all your support. Thank you, man. Appreciate that a lot. That's very kind. Okay, let's continue. Bitcoin, that's the key level. Let's move on. Teslita. Boy, oh boy. Congratulations to the Tesla family. Never broke that 2021 high. That was it, right? Chef, this is like, as long as you're over 414.50, you're good, right? You know our joke. You know our joke, right? We talked about the 414.50. We talked about how if you don't break back under 2021 highs, you're going higher. And you can see just how well the bulls defended the 2021 highs. And here you go, right? Bam. That was it. Anna, did you take AMD yesterday? I heard you talking about it in the chat. Did you end up taking it? So that 2021 high on the Nasdaq future, or on Tesla, 414.50. That was it. So that's going. Today, let's zoom out and take a look at the levels that you're holding above right now, because they're major. So if you look at this daily chart, this level right here, my friends, this daily high right here is 465.33. 465.33 is this daily high, right? Now, after that daily high, which is 465.33, you have a 4-hour high that is right here at 474.40. So those are your next levels, right? You can see right now, look what Tesla's holding above. 465.33, right there. That's your daily high. If you hold that, you are likely going to 474.40. 465.33, 474.40. If you fail back under 465.33, you come back down to our 457, 456. 457, 456 is right here. This daily high, this daily low. That is what held yesterday. That created the next leg higher. Right there. So, 465, 457, under that, 450. Yesterday, did anyone take this trade? Right here. Bam. 445 break and retest. Break and retest PDH. That was a trade we took yesterday. That was a sick one. Congrats to anyone that took that. I did not hold it to this whole move, though. Little regretful on that. All right, so that's Tesla. Let's go to Nvidia. Nvidia, 190. Here, let's see. So what did Nvidia do, my friends? Nvidia did pretty much exactly what you wanted it to do, right? Look at this, just clear, beautiful price action. Previous highs, previous highs, previous highs, right? Previous highs, previous highs. Here's your low. Break, retest, long. Break, retest, these highs, long. It's the same formation. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Right? Exact same thing. Today, you get your 3, right? 1, 2, 3. And so what's next? The next thing is 1, 2, 3. All right? And you just follow that system as we move higher. That's it. So Nvidia squeezing. Where's the next long? Hold on, guys. It absolutely does not stop you from viewing the live stream. Hold on. Where's the live stream? Right here. Pullback, long, that's the best new entry. Tuesday's highs, these highs right here would be the best pullback entry to look for. Let's see what happens at 190 today. Broadcom. I'm just so happy I took this trade because this one would have hurt. You guys know, and congratulations to you guys out there that have been paying attention, man. We have been hawking Broadcom like a maniac this entire downside move. This entire last 2 weeks, we have done nothing but talk about how Broadcom needs to be watched for a pullback long after the potential gap fill and back down to these lows. It is just incredible to see how that worked out. It's awesome. And what was the key to that long? What was the key to the long yesterday? Where was it set up, right? Where was it set up? It was set up after Broadcom reclaimed a previous high and turned it back into a low, right? The same exact thing. The reclaim ripper trade market, right? Where is the reclaim ripper on Broadcom? So you know you're looking at a big daily chart pullback, right? And you're trying to say, hey, I like this pullback on Broadcom. What do I need to see to potentially get an entry point, right? So you break this down to the shorter time frames. And you see this and you're like, okay, we got some pretty clear consolidation here. We had some pretty clear lows right here and here. Now these lows turned into rejection points, right? Right here. So you have major low, into a rejection, right? So you have this structure and you have this structure. Structure 1, structure 2. So what do we need to happen to find a new long on Broadcom? We need to have Broadcom turn these highs into new lows. And that is exactly what happened yesterday. You have a breakout, you have a pullback, and you turn this high into lows, right? And what else are you turning into lows here? If you go to the daily chart, you are turning this previous daily low right here back into support, right? So you traded underneath that daily low, you went back above it, and you turned it back into support, back over this major daily low. And that right there, my friends, is a reclaim ripper. That is perfection. And you can see that that is exactly the level that end of day held right there. That is the exact daily low right there. And that has facilitated just an absolute monster rally to the upside of over $12 per share this morning. Beautiful stuff. I mean, it's just gorgeous. It's really reminds me of how if you pay attention and like really learn this, there is just endless opportunity. It's crazy what the stock market can do. So today, where's the reclaim ripper, right? Right here, right here, right here. 341. If you now turn 341 into support, this is going higher, right? If you turn that 4-hour high, this 1 hour high, right? All these 1 hour highs right here. If you turn this flat top back into new lows, you are going to 353 and 356. And I don't see why Broadcom doesn't go back to all-time highs, personally, if the SMH and the NASDAQ is at all-time highs. So, what a move. Incredible stuff. Okay, moving on. Qualcomm, one that I would watch if you're sort of, if you're looking around for something that hasn't moved yet, this is one I would keep an eye out for. Qualcomm pulled back exactly to these highs, previous high, break, retest, daily 20 SMA. That looks pretty damn interesting, huh? I would keep an eye on that. MU's gone, unfortunately. What a rip on MU yesterday. Pullbacks have to be back to 175 or 170 right here. That's the only spots right there and right there. SMCI, gap fill, beautiful. Congratulations to those that have been watching this. We've been talking about the gap fill. We had that alert hit yesterday, 48.82. This was 48.82 here with the gap up above it, right? Gap right here, 48.82. Can't make that up. Can't make that up right there. Look at that. 48.82. Here, here, here. All afternoon consolidation above 48.82. And there it goes. Beautiful. I would not be too aggressive on this one today. This is pretty monster straight up. I think you can find some supply at 54 and 56. So I personally would want to pull back on this, of course. MRVL needs to get over 85.36, right? That's what we've been waiting on. But look at this 4-hour hold. Look at how beautiful. Look at the consolidation. Beautiful consolidation. Highs, holding above, daily 200 SMA, consolidation above previous highs. If you can squeeze over this high at 85.24, guess where you're going? 92. Big watch there, for sure. Intel, not bad yesterday. Still not above this weekly high, but what did it do? Break and retest, right? Break, retest, retest this high, bam, straight up. Pretty much perfect. Okay. A lot of sick charts out there, man. Just all these charts just looking so... You know what the cleanest one probably is? TSM. This is unreal. We've been talking about TSM on this pullback to 271, 277. Look at this structure. Facilitated the move back to this high here, and now you're breaking out. I mean, look at the structure there. It is incredible right there, man. That is sick stuff. Here, break, retest, consolidation, highs, lows, break, retest, long. I hope you're seeing it. Buffering. We're buffering. Looks good on my end. We're back. I think we're back. I hope you're seeing it, man. That's probably the best trade of the week. This is probably the cleanest chart out there. This right here. Actually, you know what the cleanest chart out there is? Right here. This thing. This is probably one of the cleanest charts. Crowdstrike. Downtrend Crowdstrike, right? Downtrend Crowdstrike. Creating those structure points here, here, and here, right? Creating those three structures, those three stair steps. Look how you stair stepped back up. Look at that. Stair, break down, break back up, break back up. Look at how beautiful. Let's do that again. Here, 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 and here. Stair step, stair step, stair step up, stair step back up, and up. It does not need to be more difficult than learning how to look for stairs. I mean, that's like, it's it. It does not need to be overcomplicated. Look for where previous rejections came in and look to see if they turn into lows. That is simply all you need to look for in the stock market. It does not need to be overcomplicated. if you said, hey, I like CrowdStrike back over these highs at 490, right? I got some very clear highs at 490 on CrowdStrike. Monday rejections 490. Tuesday rejections 490. I'm going to look for CrowdStrike to hold above 490 to take it long. Well, there it is, right? Beautiful. Am I swinging anything? Yes. I am currently up $83,000 right now this morning. There you go. $83,540 is what I'm up right now. On Broadcom and Nvidia. Right here. Okay. Next. Meta gap filled. Wild underperformance again. Does it hold the daily 100? That's something you could watch. I'm not interested in Meta today, but I would keep an eye to see if it holds that daily 100. Amazon, 225. Right here. 225. That's what you need. 225, reclaim. Look for it. Palantir. Oh, we skipped AMD. Only a matter of time. AMD, right? Only a matter of time. We've been waiting for that 164.50 breakout. Unfortunately, it happens in the after hours. But what a sick move. Over 164.50, there's your breakout. The next move here is up into this 169, 170, which is right here. 169, 170. If you can get above this 169, 170, that's your next trade. Up into 175 and possibly up into 182.50. But the best pullbacks would be 164.50. That would be a great pullback long, right? Or the break and hold above 170. Those are the two spots that I'd watch. Okay. Palantir, 185. We've been talking about this Palantir consolidation, right? We've been talking about stair step, stair step, stair step, consolidation, expansion, consolidation, expansion, consolidation, expansion. The same thing for now, basically an entire month. Palantir has basically just been screaming at you, I am consolidating and expanding, I am consolidating and expanding. Gorgeous, gorgeous chart. We're back above 185, 184.42. If we hold that, you continue your expansion up to the 190 highs. You break over 190, that's your next consolidation and expansion possible. All right, 184.42, 185.50. That's the zone I'd be watching. That's the zone that is currently holding this morning. And that's these previous highs right here. Okay. Aqua, I would pay attention to this to see if it does start to wake up. This is similar to Palantir, right? Look at the Palantir big pullback. Everyone thought Palantir was done, right? Palantir overextended itself. Palantir gave the whole move back. Let's put Palantir and Oklo on the same exact chart. Let's do that. Let's do that real quick. Quick study, compare with custom symbol Oklo. Okay, let's put them together here. So we got Oklo in the. I'm gonna make it white here. So I'll make the candles. I'll make it white. And so we have Palantir and Oklo on the same exact chart, right? Let me see if I can move Oklo's chart over. Can I move it? No, I can't. I can do. I wish I could. So it's just it's different. It happened at different times. That's all, right? So compare. Let me see if I can get these to look a little. Let me see if I can get this done. Can I get this done? Yeah, I'll try my best. But here you go, right? Let's compare these two charts. Big expansion, right? Big expansion. Overextended move, way too frothy, ridiculous upside move, right? Everyone knows it's going to come back down. What does Palantir do? Straight back down. What does Oklo do? Straight back down, right? What happened after that straight down move? What did Palantir do after the straight down move? Look at this. Consolidation period, right? What is Oklo starting to do? Consolidation period. When did Palantir start to make its move back higher? Palantir started to make its move back higher after breaking and holding above the consolidation period. Right? So what are we looking for on Aqua? We are looking for on Aqua for it to break and hold above the consolidation period, which is right there. So if we can get a break and hold above that level on Aqua, you start to build back the same way you built back on Palantir. Right? Beautiful. That's what I would be watching. Okay? All right. Last few I got for you today. Coinbase over the 350 spot. There is a gap to fill up into that 365. If Bitcoin stays strong, I would look for 352 daily highs here to hold as new lows for the move into the gap fill. MSTR, reclaim Ripper, over 320. Here's your great example of a reclaim Ripper here. Take a look at this on MSTR. Right? Here's your lows. Here's your fail below, your little alfalfa. Alfalfa. Right there. There's your alfalfa move, right? What do? You reclaim back above these lows. Reclaim right here. Reclaim Ripper. Beautiful. Datadog. Sick chart. There's thousands of charts out there today, but Datadog, sick chart. What a daily breakout. What a daily just juicer. Just a nice consolidation leading to that breakout move. What I would be watching on Datadog is 149 daily high. If you can hold 149 as support, you go up into the 159, 157 area. Apple, yeah, you can look for Apple to get above the 257 today. That's right here. If Apple can break above that 257 right here, 257.60, you go to 260. Baba, we've been tracking this one. It got above the major weekly breakout point. That's your pullback long spot, 182.50. Break and retest. All right, guys. That's going to be it from me. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. Good luck today. Think about the gap fill potential, right? Think about needing that pullback before you chase anything today. Look for those key levels to turn into support. Look for major spots to defend, right? Previous highs to turn into support. I think that's it. Best of luck. GG's to anyone long overnight. Definitely potentially some profit taking at the open on any short-term contracts. Make sure to lock up some gains. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow morning. Peace and love.